Old age. So I tend to forget a lot. So yeah. So we are talking about the Butler's, TLC. That is the Butler's tourism life cycle. The stages that the attractions and then the destinations actually go through, in their developmental process, and that's what we're discussing now. So at the exploration stage, like I said, very small group of people who actually come to the place. At the involvement stage, similar group of people will be there. At the development stage, now you're actually increasing the arrivals for that place because a lot of infrastructure going in, building capacity of the place. At the consolidation stage, that is where the place had actually been fully grown, developed, all right? And the people who are actually coming there is no longer, it's very mass, like you are having mass tourists coming there, etc. But it's consolidated. It means that it has come to its mature level, all right? And then it moves to stagnation. That is where growth doesn't occur anymore. The place is, it stagnates in terms of the number of people they can take on and things. They have come to a ceiling where they have one standard group of people who normally come there, all right? And then it gets to a decline stage or rejuvenation stage where the authorities may decide that whether they don't want to spend on the area again, and so it would decline, or they would rejuvenate it, or they will pump in more money, they will pump in more capital to actually grow the place again. So they'll bring in new things, exciting things, to actually get the place going again. So you either take a decision to decline it or to rejuvenate it, by the authorities. That's the decision. So Butler says that whenever you have an attraction or a destination, you must anticipate these growth stages, and as a result, plan with it. So, for example, Kwame, if your hotel, all right, is at a place where there's a newly found attraction, all right. Now, you are using the numbers, the tourist arrival numbers, the tourist arrival numbers to plan for your occupancy, all right. What do you think will be your plan for exploration up until decline? Or you can even say a few and then throw to other people to join. So from the explanation that I've given you, that the life cycle of an area, be it attraction or a destination, goes through these stages. As a hospitality, someone who owns a hotel or an accommodation facility, let's say a restaurant as well, how would you use these stages to plan for your activities or your occupancy?
Wow.
Yeah, or anyone can help.
Yeah, somebody.
Let me switch on my compound. I'm switching on my compound light. Yeah, let me listen to you guys. Yeah.
Let me help me.
Who is helping you? Who are you taking as a lawyer? Jemima.
Jemima and Joe.
Okay. Yeah, I'm listening. I hope you understand the stages that I explained. Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. So who can apply? Okay, forget about only a hotel. Tell me how you're going to apply it in your own circumstances. Juan?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, let me hear you.
Well, doctor, I'm not too well, but let me just give it a try.
You're not well, eh?
Yes, please.
Oh, sorry to hear. Have you taken medicine?
Yes.
But you should be resting by now.
Yes.
Are you sure you can make it through? You can, if you want, you can.
Okay. For the exploration stage, assuming, in fact, we have a small waterfalls at my village. It is not a very popular place. So at this time, I'll say that the first stage is the exploration stage where we have only few friends or close friends who normally visit. Let's say if there is a funeral, once a while we send some of our friends there because it's not to the waterfall standard as such.
Yeah.
So the involvement stage is when we will try to get the tourist board on board so that they will come around and see what advice they can give to us, how we can take care of the place and the things we can do to improve upon the place. Maybe they'll talk to the chiefs and elders and also the community like, to get
Yeah.
something starts.
Yeah.
Then the development stage is where they will start putting up, let's say, small restaurants around, um, try to create a broader path to the falls because it is just a small lane that can take only one person at a time. Maybe they can make the road broader or even have some rails around it when walking to that place.
Yeah.
And the consolidation stage is where people actually start coming. We now have visitors. Maybe it's on the social media that there is a place where people will now start patronizing the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say we can now start floating adverts
Yeah.
about the place. Then the stagnation stage is where we don't have more people again. It's like maybe people get to know about the place. So as and when they feel like coming, they come. Maybe sometimes too, they don't come to the place. So I'll say that we have attained some satisfaction at that
Yeah.
point. Then the decline stage. Yeah, we don't have any new maybe visitors coming.
Yeah.
A lot of people have gotten to know about the place. So I'll say business is no longer booming
Yeah.
as such.
Yeah.
Then rejuvenation. That is, what are some of the new things that we can add to the place to make it more attractive to customers, to refreshen up the place? Let's say we have a falls. Maybe now we are thinking of um, creating some, let's say, rope. You know, when you are visiting some of these
Yeah.
falls,
Yeah.
you tie rope, just bringing something new on board to change the whole story of walking to the falls. This is how best I understood what you said.
Fantastic. In fact, you deserve a round of applause. Yeah.
I
Good
knew
job.
Duan would be able to answer this question.
Sorry.
I knew Duan who would be able to answer because I
Oh,
said it.
Jemima.
It's just that my mic was mute. That's why Kwame didn't hear me. But when
Oh,
Kwame mentioned it, I said, this question is for Duan.
Excellent.
oh,
Excellent. A round of applause for her. I mean, that's fantastic. So clearly, with this, narration, it tells you at each level what you'd expect. So if you have a small facility, accommodation facility, you know that the kind of people that are coming the exploration stage may not be able to have you full occupancy. All right. So you're actually looking at maybe 2/3 or even 1/3 of occupancy. And obviously, the kind of people who are coming to the exploration are likely to be higher end because these are certain specific people of certain specific interest. We will see that in the tourist characteristics, the kind of people that come there. And similar for the involvement. Now, as you go to development and consolidation, you're now looking at mass market. So in that case, your accommodation facility, you're most likely to expect, overflow. All right. So the occupancy increases. You're likely to not to meet the demand because it's now moving on to mass market terrain. And as Joanne said, you're now looking at advertising, etc. And so you're going to have a popular demand like church groups, coming, school groups coming, maybe a group of tourists from some places coming in. So within the development consolidation and stagnation, you are having an expansion because it's not going to move into mass market, all right? Now, at the decline stage, now there's nothing exciting about the place. Majority of people have already come there. And so you see a drifting, all right? So year in and year out, there's a decline of the people who are coming in. Now, you make a decision to rejuvenate by adding extra value, all right, to attract more people. Now, which of our hospitality and tourism programs in this country as national, can you liken, these stages to that? All right, which of our attractions or our, what do you call destinations, can you actually say that they have gone through these stages up until decline? Who can tell us? Who can tell us? Which of our, tourism or tourism hospitality event in this country that you would say, or destination that you would say had gone through these stages? Yeah, there are a lot of them.
So the Kakum National Park.
Kakum National Park, excellent. Because when
the castle,
there were the castle,
the Cape Coast castles.
excellent. At the beginning of these places, I remember when I was in St. Augustine's, Kakum, in fact, I went to Kakum almost 3 times when I was in St. Augustine's College, all right, because it was then that had been, and when you go there, you see buses, schools from Kumasi, schools from Ho, schools from, do you get it? Now, if you go to Kakum, you don't have that experience again. You see few people there, right? So certainly, you can actually look at Kakum's growth along this path, to a level where there's almost a decline. I mean, it's been a long time I went to Kakum, but I'm sure when you get there now, you won't see the overflow of buses, etc., as those days, all right? And the same as the castles, all right? What else? There's a popular program that you can actually look and find these stages.
The what of the Kwewu, the paragliding.
Exactly. So you realize that you can say that Kwewu now is at consolidation. Do you get it? Kwewu, when it started, and it was a bare land, and then they were doing it. Now they've done a lot of things there, which you can talk about development, all right? They have built landing bays, they've built some eating facilities, people have built hotels around there, all right? The paragliding. They've built, the passenger terminals, all right? But when they started Kowoko, it wasn't like that. So it was at the exploration stage, bare land, they were just flying in there, all right? They started adding these toilet facilities, they started adding landing bays, they started adding, passenger bays, etc. Now you can say that Kowoko is at consolidation, all right? And every year, it looks like that's the only game in town now, all right? Now, what else? Which other events? One popular one. Fantastic. So, which state do you think Panafest is now?
So it's at the decline stage.
Obviously. Panafest is now at the decline. You remember Panafest and Emancipation, 1992 onwards, was the biggest event Africa-wide. And in fact, I remember vividly our first Panafest. We saw planes of Black Americans landing at Kotoka, and people were kissing the ground. I don't know, those of you in my generation, those of you who are millennials, you don't know that. But in my time, I don't know whether that memories come to mind, Kwame. People actually got down from the plane and they kissed the airport, they kissed the ground, and they were wailing like Black America. A lot of them was crying, and all right, that's the beginning of Panafest. Now, years went by, and there were more planes coming for Panafest. right now, as we speak, we don't even see the Black Americans. You see some very small group, especially those who are part of the NA, they call the NACCP or whatever, right? The Panafest now is not like the Panafest we used to know. In fact, those days Panafest, when you go to the Panafest village in Cape Coast, wow, massive. I attended about twice or so because I was in Senegal's college. Now, Panafest, you don't even hear it that there's Panafest, all right? But those days it was all over in the news, all over on radio, there was adverts. These days, before you realize, Panafest and Emancipation Day had passed without you realizing it. What you hear is Kowoko. So you can definitely pass through, you can use Panafest to go through these stages, all right, and see that now it's at decline. How do we, I don't even know what Panafest is. Now, typical, what do you call, millennial. So yeah, I'll explain Panafest to you, all right? So how do you actually rejuvenate Panafest? Is the question that the authorities haven't even been able to answer. So Panafest is now at the decline. Whenever it happens, Reverend Cohen, the guy who actually heads the Panafest Foundation, I've forgotten his name. He's the one, he and then some of the diehard Black Americans who are actually connected to the homeland are the ones who actually come around. And now Panafest is what is called a Pan-African Festival, right? It was created at the time of PNDC to make Ghana the what do you call the Mecca, for Black Africans, or Black Americans or Africans of the diaspora. That is wherever you find yourself. And when they created that concept, the idea was to educate the Black communities abroad about how the slavery happened and how they ended where they are, i.e. reconnecting them back to the homeland. So it was Panafest and emancipation happening. The emancipation was on a particular day where they go to Asomanso to look at the slave water, where the slaves had their last drink before they departed to the castles and were shipped away. It was a very, very emotional, spiritual experience for Black Americans, and Africans of the diaspora, right? Very, very spiritual experience. And when it was launched, I tell you, it was global. Panafest was massive. Over the years, Ghana and our politics, because when one political party comes in, he thinks that the other program that somebody did is not their baby. So they may take credit for it. When 2000, we had MPP come to power, they didn't actually invest in Panafest. They created their own Joseph Project, which Obechebilante started. Again, the Joseph Project, and what baffles me is that the Joseph Project had the same idea as Panafest. So they did the Homecoming Summit. Those of you who remember those times, they did the Homecoming Summit, with the Joseph Project, but never actually plugged it into the Panafest. So eventually, the Panafest was starved out because it was set up by Rollins, and they brought their own Joseph Project, Homecoming. Now, after Kufuor's time, of course, it looks like Atamilso's time also did not invest in the Joseph Project, and it went the way it went. Now, Akufo-Addo came and he's brought what? The year of return.
Yeah, return.
Now, the
Beyond
Joseph
the return.
Project, the Panafest and Emancipation are also what? Kaput. So unfortunately, this is how far we've come with our story, all right? So I hope you have an idea about Panafest. You can read a little bit about it even later on. It sounds very interesting. I tell you, it was so enjoyable. And even on the backdrop of Panafest, I remember I actually organized what we call SciFest, which is Student and Youth Festival in Sekendi Takrady, where we brought a lot of Africans. When you get a time, you can search for me, right? At least me to have some small popularity on that. So we organized what we call SciFest, a Pan-African Student and Youth Festival. We brought a lot of students from the African continent. And the idea was to dovetail it to the Panafest at the student level. And in fact, at that time, we had about 8 African countries or so represented. And it was our own Papa Usankuma who was empowered as a Minister for Youth and Sports. I remember vividly, he told me that, oh, we are joking, it won't work. he never invested in it. Before he realized, we were organizing it. In fact, we were actually meeting delegates at the airport. And when he came to speak on the program, he confessed that he actually downplayed us. He thought we couldn't do it. And unfortunately, we couldn't sustain Cyfest. So because I then left for school, some of my guys who we organized it, everybody, because we were students then, so it just, died like that. But these are some of the things that we do. We're not able to sustain events because our leaders will play politics with it or will doubt it if they are young people leading it, all right, unfortunately. All right, so we know how the talc works and we know how you can apply it to, your work if you're actually looking at the stages of the tourism life cycle and how it goes. So yes, another diagram for the stages, as you see, the exploration, the involvement stage, decline. And as it goes along, the population of people, the target people also, goes down. Now, apart from and remember the TLC is actually applied to the area or to the attraction or the destination. Now, Cohen actually describes the type of, or the characteristics of, travelers who actually attend to these places at each stage, right? And it says that at the early stage of the life cycle, the people who come to participate in that tourist area is called drifter, all right? They are called drifters. Now, the drifters, according to Cohen, are very unique people with a very specific objective, all right? They live the way, host cultures live, and they include travelers of forget about the age, but say 1960s and 70s, but they associate this with the initial stages of TAP, all right? So we're looking at specific kind of people who are actually very much into, tourism. You can talk about the expert like maybe the professors who are actually researching into tourism areas or cultures of humans, etc. All right. So you have these kind of groups who actually, come to, they participate in that particular, stage of the area, the attraction. So these are called drifters. Now the explorers also come to, the tourist areas, just like the drifters. That is from the exploration to the involvement stage. You have these explorers and the drifters are the specific people actually going there. And then again, say these prefer more comfortable accommodation and better and reliable transport than drifters, which means that as drifters are actually going at the exploration stage and the involvement stage, you are expecting that explorers will be going to these places at what? At the development stage, because that's where you have more infrastructure, coming to the area, housing, and all those, facilities there, because they like a little bit of, comfort. And then, of course, as you get into the development and the consolidation stage, you're expecting mass tourists, all right? People who come, they register as individual tourists, but they actually, quite a lot of people who are actually getting to know the place from news or from, let's say, advertisement, from social media, and then they are making their way there. So you experience mass tourists, coming into the destination or to the attraction at the consolidation stage. So within the consolidation stage and the stagnation, you are having individual mass tourists, and then you're having organized mass tourists, who are actually participating in the area. Then, of course, once you get to the decline, you take the decision to let the place decline or to, rejuvenate the place. Now, that tells you that if you have to manage a place, all right, and the place is at the exploration stage, you should know the kind of marketing communication and then the kind of marketing communication channels you are using. Clearly, you cannot actually use advertisement or mass media to target exploration stage drifters, all right? Because they are drifters, they are most likely to be bloggers, all right? Because some of these professors, they may be blogging on the areas they've been to that people have not been. Maybe some cave that is new, that is found somewhere. You see that they will be blogging about them, they will be tweeting about them. So in that cases, in that particular case, when you're targeting drifters to come to a newly found place, like what Joanne was talking about, you don't use mass media to target them because that would be too expensive. Remember, there are very few targeted people who come there. So when you're targeting drifters at an exploration stage of an attraction or of a destination, what you're trying to use is very targeted, channels like blogging, like maybe some social media places that could specifically actually target people, or emails. All right. And majority of these groups too, sometimes they have association, they have a very close-knit association. So you are actually sending targeted messages to them about a newly found place that they can come and have experience of. All right. The same way, when the area is moving towards development and consolidation stages, you start using mass media because that's where you are targeting more people and you are targeting a wider community. So you start using mass media when the stages are getting into development, consolidation, and then of course stagnation. You start using mass media even when it's at stagnation stage, because you probably had used things like you've registered people, their emails, their contact details, etc. At the stage of stagnation, you probably want to even cut down costs because you do not want to push in too much money. So you could actually use direct mails, like sending emails, bulk email to people, sending them bulk text messages about some of the things at the place. You're reminding them of, if it's a yearly event at that place, you're reminding them of those events, etc. All right. So you've got to actually know at what stage and what marketing tools you are using, to target your your target market. All right. So different tourism strategies shall take care of the following. So tourists must have access to the information regarding tour operators, tour agents, and guides. All right. And that means that by the time the area is gotten to more of a developmental stages, you're now having tour operators who are getting to know the place and bringing in people. You're having tour agents, you're having tour guides who take a lot of people through the process, etc. Again, you have a shortage of skilled manpower in the industry. Product services should be designed in generic terms. This helps focus more attention on the experiences desired by customers. So at each stage of the tourism life cycle, you're looking at what perhaps is needed. When the place gets into development, consolidation, because it's taking mass people. Sometimes you could have a decline. You could have a shortage of skilled, manpower. For example, tour guides. If you have only one or two tour guides and you're expecting mass tourists, certainly you have to actually increase the number of tour guides that may be needed at the place. All right, and the same as the accommodation facilities. Any questions or contributions so far? Any questions or contribution? All right. Okay. So again, the promotional tools that you have to use, as we talked about, and then of course the awareness, enhancing local awareness of offerings, etc. All right. Now, criteria for selecting a destination. If someone is actually selected a destination to visit, you're looking at location, availability of relevant data, historical and cultural significance, popularity amongst domestic tourists, and then personal experience. Now, I want to show you guys a video or two, and then we can actually discuss what type of tourist do you think that area would. Just a minute. Incredible. Okay. Okay. This video, where is it? Just a minute here. It's not the same. Tourism. There's a video I usually play, but I don't know where it's gone now. Oh, I've lost this. Oh, they've pulled it. Okay, I found it. All right, so I just pull this video off. Stop share. Okay, share screen. Okay, so please pay attention to this video and try to pick up some few segments for analysis when we're done, all right? I'll ask some few questions. So it's gonna start. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right.
India, incredible India.
You want to watch it again? Or you can analyze it?
It's okay.
Okay. All right.
It's
So,
okay.
yeah, so Incredible India, that's the India's tourism promotion material. And as the strap line suggests, it says that India is an incredible place. Now, if you watch this video, the first question is, who do you think is the target? What's the target market? I mean, as we have just explained, the typologies of the tourists, all right? We have the drifters, we have the explorers, and then of course we have the individual mass tourists, and then we have, group mass tourists. Now, this video, what do you think, is or who do you think is the target market that is looking at? Yeah.
Doc, let me try.
Yeah.
The individual mass tourist.
Excellent.
The
The
individual mass tourist.
That's great. Now, give us the justification. What do you think is individual mass tourist?
According to the video, I realized that it's not been organized by any tour operators or any travel agency, but it's tourists that like adventure.
Excellent.
They like to evolve in the community, do what the community is doing.
Excellent. Excellent. So if you look at the various scenes in the video, the places that the guy went, the activities that he did, none of them can you say is at the exploratory stage. All right. It's most likely to be at the development stage. And so you could see that there was community involvement. Obviously the people are doing the stuff that he was doing, the attractions, the festivals. India, they have something called a color festival. That's where you see they poured this color on him. And so majority of the activities that he was undertaking are activities that are at the, so to speak, the development consolidations. They are general tour activities. All right. So you can imagine that, and the way they use, single. If you look at the analysis of this guy, he's likely to be at the Holy Festival. Yeah. Now says it's called the Holy Festival.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you look at the activities that were involved, and then the guy himself, you see that this is a guy who is just like, perhaps he's just finished his master's. All right. He wants maybe a year abroad or some relief. Maybe you just finished your master, you are so exhausted, you want to just go and have some fun somewhere and then come back to look for a job. All right, this is the kind of guy because you can see he's a carefree guy. He set out his own tent somewhere, So the character in the video and then the segment of the activities involved in can actually tell you that this is targeted at individual mass tourists. And the stages of these, in terms of the tourism area life cycle, these are areas that are likely to be in, developmental consolidated, stages. Are you with me? Yeah, guys, I don't hear you.
We are with you. We are with you, sir. We are with you, sir.
Excellent. Now I'm going to show another video. Okay, so let's see. Now, I love this video so much because the way it is, the way the narration goes, and the images they show, so fantastic. Now, again, pay attention to the words, because this is different from the first we watched. This one has a voiceover. Pay attention to the voiceover, and then also look at the scenes that they project. And then, we'll come back to discuss it, all right? All right, so I'm gonna play the video now, and then you're gonna actually see those scenes. And then we can actually discuss the kind of things that we see in there, okay?
Be still, so you may hear the dreams of the people below. Pay no attention to the impossible, they whisper, for he does not belong here. As the road rises, you find the land, majestic, calm. The space, the air, the breeze, the buzz, the thrill, and the back of beyond. Engaging, refuge, home, inviting, but never foreboding. The beast's heart will pound beside ours. As night crackles electric, a million promises are held. Day rewards night with a perfect dawn, and dawn rewards in turn. And nature rewards an inquisitive mind. In a land where the impossible is defined and ignored.
Okay, this one, because of the voiceover, I may have to play it again. Did you get the narration?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Should I play it again, or we should go ahead to do the analysis?
Please play over again.
Okay. All right. So we're going to play it again. Listen to the narration. And I tell you, this is my best out of those videos.
Be still, so you may hear the dreams of the people below. Pay no attention to the impossible, they whisper, for he does not belong here. As the road rises, you find the land, majestic, calm. The space, the air, the breeze, the buzz, the thrill, and the back of beyond. Engaging, refuge, home, inviting, but never foreboding. The beast's heart will pound beside ours. As night crackles electric, a million promises are held. Day rewards night with a perfect dawn, and dawn rewards in turn. And nature rewards an inquisitive mind. In a land where the impossible is defined and ignored.
Okay, so let's come back to the analysis. I love this video so much because the messaging is very targeted, all right? And the narration, the segment, each of the segment actually falls on a particular message that they want to put across. Now, who do you think this video is targeting? And you can get the answer even from the images as well as from the narration. Who do you think this video is targeting?
So the graphics.
The drifters.
The drifters.
The drifters.
Yes.
Yeah, the drifters, and then you can even look at it to the drifters and then the explorers, but very much the drifters, all right? Okay, so
Yes.
why do you say it's for the drifters? It's targeting the drifters.
So from the video, you realize that the place is not very much developed. They are yet to even find the way to the place, and yeah, things are not so clear about the place to the tourists. So
who differs in opinion from Joan? Yeah. Who differs in opinion? Yeah. Who else?
Doctor, I want to try.
Okay, try.
I think he wasn't willing to be associated with the tourist industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead and explain.
From the video.
Yeah.
How do I put this?
Okay. Who can support? Go on.
Okay, so let me try.
Yeah.
From the video, I realized they want to keep the natural state of the place. So that's why they are targeting few people, and those they want the place to still be natural and still be in a good shape.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yes, I had the experience of it last year. I went there last year, and
okay, that's
it's just the same as how the video is.
Okay, fantastic. Wow, we have a real life feel, real life example. That's good. Yes. Now, I'm sure you've been to Abu Dhabi. Tell us something. Yeah. Where's Mercedes? Mercedes.
Yes, please.
I'm sure your job. You've been to Abu Dhabi before. Tell us something.
No, please. No, please, I haven't. No.
Okay, so tell us something. What do you think this video is targeting drifters?
Yeah, so it's the same thing Patricia said.
Yeah. Okay. Now, first of all, I'll start playing again and then be stopping it at each segment so that perhaps the explanation would be complete. So listen to the first, look at the scenes and listen to the narration, all right?
Be still, so you may hear the dreams of the people below. Pay no attention to the impossible, they whisper, for he does not belong here.
Okay.
As the road rises, you find the land.
So it says that be still, so you may hear the voices below. Pay no attention to the impossible, they whisper, because it does not belong here. Now, what we know about the Emirates or the Abu Dhabi and then the Arab area is that there's so much mythology about these areas, isn't it? And so much misinformation, right?
Yes.
So there's a perception that we have about the place, that it's desert, that it is not modern, that is, what do you call Islamic, or, that area, that they have no, so we have a certain, we have a certain perception about the place that, it clouds our judgment. Just a minute. Prof, please, I'm in class. I'll call you back. Yeah, I'll call you back, please, when I'm done. Right. So we have that particular perception about the place. Now, this video is about busting that myth. It's about addressing that myth. And it's addressing that myth by targeting certain specific, people. That is drifters. Why? Because the drifters may be able to write about, the place as means of changing those perceptions, means of changing those, images that we have about Abu Dhabi. So they are addressing this video, inviting these drifters to be able to talk about the story of Abu Dhabi. So it is not so much about the place not developed, but it's about the myth or the image or the stories that we have about Abu Dhabi that is untrue. So that's why it says, be still, pay attention, so you may hear the whisper below, pay attention to the impossible, they whisper. So it is addressing those rumors. That's why it says, pay attention to the impossible, they whisper. Now it goes ahead to show a desert that is bearing fruits. You saw it, right? A desert that is bearing fruit and being watered. So that goes to the segment that it says, impossible does not belong here. All right. So Abu Dhabi is a place for all possibilities, that even a desert bears fruit. All right. And then it goes ahead to show you these two guys who are actually holding, what is called telescope and watching. That character shows you the drifter characteristics because they explore. All right. The drifters actually look at things, they explore, and they write about it. So you saw a lady, a Western European looking lady who was pensive like this, holding some magazine or some writing pad or something, all right? And all those images demonstrate someone who's been there wondering about the place and trying to piece together some ideas, all right? Let's go ahead and watch the video and then listen to the
majestic, calm. The space, the air, the breeze, the buzz, the thrill, and the back of beyond. Engaging, refuge, home, inviting, but never foreboding. The beast's heart will pound beside ours. As night crackles electric, a million promises are held. Day rewards night with a perfect dawn, and dawn rewards in turn. And nature rewards an inquisitive mind. In a land where the impossible is defined and ignored.
Okay, so you saw this young guy, you know, who has a backpack, who is actually going there, and the look, I mean, the way the composure is like he's wild about the place, all right? And that tells you that story about, oh, is that how this place looks? Do you get it? And if you look at the beginning of the video, there's a guy in Jalambia driving a Mercedes Benz. Now, that's not your kind of image you associate with, you know, a group of people you think they are still in their cultural domain. So the story tells you that you can actually mix modernity and culture at the same time. And that's what Gloria was actually telling us, that even when she went there, you could see that. So they have succeeded in merging, you know, modernity and culture at the same time. So you see a Formula One, you know, what do you call, a paddock there, which, you know, was built by Ferrari. You know, that you know, the architecture designed of that silver kind of thing. But then it's in the same area that you see, you know, donkeys or horses, and you see those, you know, desert places. So it's actually kind of busting the myth about what we know about Abu Dhabi. And they're actually addressing that through drifters that they're inviting to come and have a look at the place, and then write about it to say that your perceptions about this place is actually flawed. And that's how come I love this video so much, because it talks about people's perception and how they want to change that perception. And it actually blends the place's original state, its cultural, you know, and social state with its modern feel, to actually get people wonder how this place actually looks like. All right. Is there anything to add, or a question that you would love to ask?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah,
I would like to ask.
Yeah.
Sure. Following the discussion, I'm just trying to find it very difficult to fit in marketing the places like you were saying, because I was looking at most of our tourist sites in Ghana here, and most of them are in the rejuvenation or decline states.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just wondering, how are we going to go about it?
Mm-hmm.
Because how are we going to put forward or market places that are deteriorating, are declining, the facilities, I mean, no maintenance, everything is just falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, so I don't know how we are going to pick it up, whether we are going to write nice things to just decorate the place, but then in physical terms, the place is not how it should be.
Yeah, I get a point that you're making. Now, when we talk about, you know, the decline stage, and we talk about the attractions, quality, etc., it is not so much about physically how you look, because in fact, there are some people who argue that when the castles were renovated, we had actually eroded the legacy. And so there were people who argue that the castles shouldn't have been renovated. In fact, when you go to Cape Coast Castle and Elmina Castle, you can see there's a new touch to it, like paintings and things. But you see, in demonstrating your legacy, you want the original nature of the place as opposed to the makeover. So immediately you do makeover, you have actually touched the soul of the place, which is not supposed to be so. So ideally, it is not about putting the building in a modern shape, because you're talking about legacy, what the slavery left behind. So immediately you put it in a modern state, you've spoiled the place. But the idea is the facilities around it, how is it habitable? So that when somebody comes to the place, they can find comfort. That's why even some roads leading to certain, destinations or attractions do not necessarily have to be tarred, because they are part of the experiences. All right.
So, but we can do touch-ups without
touching the
having to alter anything. For instance,
exactly.
if you go to Manshia, or the whole story of the Ashanti Kingdom, where the kings and queens are buried, you realize that you will see or experience what has happened in the past. Quite recently, I read that the Asante Hene, and I think I can't give the exact figure, but the Asante Hene, there are about 6 or 7 Asante Henes who have done a particular cloth.
The kente.
Now, exactly, a particular kente, particular cloth. They have done that. They've preserved it. They've not touched it. So we can have a situation whereby we'll still see and feel all these in the state in which they have.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the point I'm making. So when we say about keeping the place, it is about preservation. It's about what can you do to let people still feel without touching the soul of it. All right. So as you said, majority of our places, when we say they are the decline, not necessarily in terms of their physical state, but our own activities to keep them maintained, i.e., selling them, actively promoting them, is not going on. And so the attendance to the place or people's visitation to the place had actually gone down. All right. But as I said, when you go to Scarborough Castle, for example, the place is ruined. It's completely ruined. But the infrastructure around it, in fact, the reception to get to the Scarborough Castle is a top-notch reception. All right. Everything is there. And you have modern gadgets. But when you enter the castle itself, all right, everything is just in a ruined state, as legacy was, because they fought there. There was a war. They fought there. So they would actually put the castle back as in building it, because immediately you build it, you touch the soul of it. So they've left that wall ruins, all right? So when you go there, you can see that this is really a place that was bombed, fight happened, and then you can see, relics of spears and swords and things like that. Are you with me? So that's what we're talking about. So, but that is all about marketing. To what extent do we keep the narrative of the place ongoing for people to be wowed by it and for them to come? And if you don't do those things, that's where the places actually get to a decline stage. But there are places that have been sustained. If you ask yourself about this place, this US theme park, what's the name? The theme park in the US, popular name, is very popular. What's it called? Disney World.
Right?
Yeah. Disney World has been there for donkey years, isn't it? But you ask yourself, why is it that Disney World hadn't gotten to a decline stage? All right. Because like product, you would think that it would have been declined by now if it is as a result of how long it's been. But Disney World is still on its peak. It's because there's a deliberate, consistent effort to keep it as such. Are you with me? There are some products that had been in existence for donkey years. And I remember sometimes somebody actually showed this St. Louis sugar. All right. In fact, our great grands have actually made this sugar. Up to now, we're still using St. Louis. So it is about the activities that the institutions responsible for maintaining them are able to keep in order that they can actually keep the place still running, but not in its physical stage. I don't know. Am I clear on that, Jemima?
Yes, I get it now. I get it clearly now. Mm-hmm. So my question is, at the decline stage, does it mean so? Because some of the places you go to now, mm-hmm. like you realize that they are. For instance, if you go to Booty Falls, no, let me say Abri Gardens, Abri Botanical Gardens.
Exactly.
The place is dead.
Yeah, I was there last.
They're not planting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that. I don't know, like. Yeah, the place is dead, and they are just leaving the place to, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, and so in such a case, and it applies to many of our other tourist sites. Yes. So then,
to rejuvenate it.
Yeah. So and to get a lot of these places, you know, running again up on their feet. I don't know how me as an individual can actually play an active role in doing that. I feel like it is the maybe government or the institutions involved in, you know. Yes. So I want to know what I can do, you know, to be able to keep the place, like you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the point. See, the point is that the frustration, in fact, I was there last month or so, and I didn't even know that there was a hotel. In fact, it's accommodation, no hotel. I mean,
I was even surprised myself to see that. It was just...
You saw it, right? Yeah. Apparently, there was accommodation facility in that botanical garden. So apparently, in Nkrumah's time, you know, people can actually go there to have their honeymoons there. All right. Okay. Now, this accommodation facility is in ruins now. So the point is that at the time when people are even placing more emphasis on weddings, and you have such a facility that could actually host people's honeymoon, that's when the thing is in ruins. Can you imagine? Because, and the view, you see, when you are, the building is such a way that when you are there, you can see the gardens, all right, the view. So you can imagine that having your wedding photos there, you know, like at the balcony of the accommodation, you know, with your spouse, and then say, oh, this is where, and then having a narrative about you had your honeymoon at Botanical Gardens with this fantastic photos of fantastic building over there. You see, but the point is, apparently most of these things have litigations on them because the tourism agencies and the ministry didn't actually follow through a lot of the agreements that Nkrumah had with some of the families and some of the landowners. Apparently, even when you go to Ahanta West, I think I was there, there was a conversation about Nkrumah took so much land over there and then gave within a particular years, they paid the families or the chiefs certain amount of money and said they were going to use those places for that. Now, the years have elapsed. Those projects, subsequent government haven't followed through those projects. So the chiefs and then the people of are not demanding those lands back. That one, they didn't use it for the project that the subsequent government was supposed to use them for. And the money that they paid, of course, is of no value now. The same thing is happening with most of our tourist attractions. Some of them are actually families' properties, all right? Some of them are in the hands of certain custodians, chiefs, and they're not in the hands of the district chief, you know, the district assemblies. So there's contention between the chiefs and then the district assemblies that the Ghana Tourism Authority is not able to solve because of these land tenure issues. Now, I didn't even know that the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum is actually in the hands of the family, Nkrumah family. They're not in the hands of the Metropolitan. So the Nkrumah family are the ones supposed to maintain it, etc. So there are so many issues around our attractions and our destinations that is making it even difficult for the ministry to actually keep the maintenance of it. And I was actually wondering, the Ebri one, for example, who is it? And I was like, if Ghana Tourism Authority actually has authority over this place, how come that they could let it go ruins like that? So it baffles me, to be honest, Jemima, like you're saying, in fact, we've been to a lot of meetings, we've talked about these things, and sometimes you wonder whether the state is not aware of the importance of these places and how they can actually generate. Meanwhile, you have a ministry that's supposed to oversee to some of these things. So it's serious, you know. When you compare other countries, what they're doing and what we're doing, it baffles me that Panafest now is completely declined. You know, please, something that we are bringing aeroplanes, like big planes, people were coming. It was fetching this country so much money. And now we're talking about events are the biggest, as Koyo was telling you, events now is becoming the biggest, kind of a program, under the tourism calendar. And we have the biggest event like Panafest, which was global. In fact, the brand Panafest was global. A lot of people knew that. And look at what it's got into now. So it's frustrating, but you as an individual where you plug in, I think it's about sometimes, identify. All of us these days, we all have cameras and things. Setting up your blog, all right? Going to places, maybe you go to a funeral, you find an hour or two to go to certain attractions, take some photos, get a story from local people about the place, and then write a blog on that, all right? You would see that you'll be attracting a lot of readership on your blog. You end up turning it into a program, or you could even start receiving visitors and taking them to these places. So individually, this is what you can do. What we did, we've been doing at UGBS, it's just like that. When we started Destination Legon, even now the university wanted to adapt it, but we're trying to find a way of, making it university-wide. Some faculties don't even think that it was necessary. But by the time we started having, this is the 8th edition. Now it's become so big that whenever we're actually doing Destination Legon, you have other players from town coming in and things, and then Tourism Authority always coming there. But as to make it national, as to make it, it's also a contention because the authority tells you they don't have money, to support the event. But we still do it anyway. So these are some of the frustrations that you end up getting. Right. But anyway, so if you have a camera, nice camera, when you go to places, take some photos, write some narrative about them and blog. I always say that majority of you, or most of you, have to start blogging, on some of the key things of interest that you have. Yeah, before you realize it's becoming a big thing. There's this lady, I am Hat or whatever. She's on Instagram. Is it Mama Hat or something? Who knows?
Hamamat African.
Yeah.
No, Hamamat Montia.
Yeah, Hamamat or whatever.
Montia, yeah. Former beauty queen.
Exactly. Now look at how far her work is gone.
Yeah.
I'm sure that a lot of people didn't understand what she was doing. It's just about these blogging things and writing about things. Now she's getting premium, things for that. You get it? So you can actually pick a place of interest and go and like your place that you're talking about. This your waterfall that you said is a small thing. Look, that is even some people's interest. They do not want to go to places that are big. This small waterfall, you can start promoting it to be even people's, small wedding, get together places like that. If you can identify certain places that can be habitable. All right. People can start using it for events. You can
say,
yeah.
It's a very nice place, but the problem is that getting there, it is only, I'll say it's only the youth that can go there.
Exactly.
Because
so that's a very market, isn't it? That's a target market.
Yeah, it's just a very steep hill, and I don't know. It's quite difficult.
But the steep hill itself is part of the tourism, isn't it? Hiking is part of the tourism. Do you get it? So the road to the place itself is part of the experience. You don't need to make it a big road that car can pass on. So the nature of the place actually tells you the target market. All right. So it's about identifying the attraction point, like going to the places that the steep hill itself is one. What does that offer? All right, to the tourist, to the arrival. So that in itself, you know, what do you call? What's the word I mentioned it earlier? You know, so hiking itself is part of tourism. All right. So the hiking has its own story, and then leading to the place. The environment itself has its own, how cozy the environment is. So you've got to actually identify all these attributes about the place and write it down to add it to the value. And then as a result of its makeup, you can identify what kind of tourist you must target there. Do you get it? Because most of these European young people, like this guy in the video, all right, this is the kind of thing they want to do. They want to hike to the place, and then again, the place has some kind of excitement in terms of the nature is all right, etc. They are all part of the place. So you can actually take some photos and come and show us in the next class. Let's
sir.
Yeah.
Even Sunday, I visited a village just near I don't know whether you heard of Adaklu before.
Yeah, I know that. I know about our lecture.
Yes, I visited one of the towns. In fact, it was just Sunday. You know, you can't take a car there. I was thinking I would just drive straight to Adaklu. We got somewhere and they said, no, we have to park the car and start walking.
Yeah.
It was all stones.
Exactly.
I wish I could just share the picture with you. It was just.
I think we have to organize a trip to the places that Joan is talking about. What do you guys?
Oh, so I'll just share I'll try and share the picture now. It was just stones. You just be stepping on stones till you get to the town. And I was like, so what if a woman is like in labor and about to deliver? How does she walk through this place to the next village?
You're a lady and you're in labor. That place is not for you.
Oh, but there are people there in that town.
They live there.
Okay. Yes.
I was thinking you are saying that if you are a lady and you are labor, in terms of tourism, I mean, what are you going to do there?
Oh, no. I mean, those in the town, when they want, like, let's say the nearest health facility, you know. So I was like, but it's so strange.
But you see, that is the place you want to preserve and to promote, you know, because there are a group of tourists who actually want that experience. Do you get it? So I wish we can actually organize a trip and go there. I mean, go to some.
Yeah, sir, you will love it, and I'll share the pictures with you.
Okay, you share that, but guys, discuss it and let's see the possibility of us going. Perhaps we can go.
In fact, we can go.
We can go where? I can make arrangements.
Which of the town?
I can make arrangement and get a UGBS bus. All right. I mean, we are 8, right?
Shouldn't we go and sleep over? Let's sleep over.
We can sleep over. So
yeah.
So what we'll do is that I will arrange for you. You guys tell me what date you think is suitable for us to go. I'll use the date. In fact, by tomorrow, let me know.
So
we'll order the UGBS bus, and then we can look at how much it's going to cost us, and then we'll contribute and we'll go.
Okay, sir.
All right. I mean, we are 8, so we can do social distancing in the bus. All right. And then, so let's make it a project. So, Patricia, please, by tomorrow, let me know what date you guys want us to go. I'll make arrangement with the bus.
Before the exam or after the exam? Like, I'm not getting this.
It should be after.
It will be an intro to hospitality and tourism exam.
But do you guys want it after the exam? After the exam, you guys will not have interest again. You do your own
stuff. Before the exam.
Yeah, we should go before the exam.
That will be your exam.
Yeah. I mean, if when is the exam starting?
So exams. Sir, I've shared the picture with you on your WhatsApp.
Okay, when is the exam starting? Oh wow.
9th August.
9th August.
Yeah.
9th. Okay, 9th August, fine. If it's 9th August, we can go. That's when exams are starting, right? 9th August is when exams are starting.
Yes.
Please.
Okay. What about we going next 2 weeks? What date is next 2 weeks? Must it be weekend or weekday? What do you guys think?
It's a weekend.
Weekend. Okay.
Yes.
So weekend, that's what? We mean Friday, Saturday, or we mean
Yes,
Saturday,
Friday, Saturday. Then we'll come back on Sunday because a lot of them will go to work.
Okay. All right. So that's a good idea. Now, it means that those who are from Takrady, Jemima, you're going to meet us here in Accra. Yeah? I mean, when it's set off at dawn, you can meet us. All right? And then we journey from here to Ho. We'll join those who are in Ho. All right? So, and the good thing is that classes are online anyway, so you always can have your laptop wherever you are. You can have your class. So I don't think moving from Takrady here will be an issue. Of course, you need to take leave. I'm sure you can give yourself your leave, isn't it? You are the boss. Yeah.
Okay, so let me.
Okay, so you guys discuss. If it's next week, if next 2 weeks or next 3 weeks, at least it has to be in July, before the July ends, right?
Before July ends.
Yes, sir. Before July ends.
I have to look at my schedules and get back.
Okay, so look into it.
By weekend too, you are working.
I work every day.
Hey.
So get please, let's settle on that. I think we should do it before July ends. Otherwise, first week of August, because our first week in August is right next exam. Oh. Okay, look at the appropriate between end of July and first week in August. Let's get the thing done. Get me the date quickly so that I can book the UGBS bus, and then we'll look at what is involved. Joanne, you're going to check accommodation around the area, how much it's going to cost us. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. And then maybe we'll have maybe two or three people to also think about food for us, etc. All right? And then we'll go. Please let it happen. If you don't let it happen, it will be disappointing. All right?
It will happen.
Okay. Guys, I think we can end the class here.
Thank you.
Thank you. So enjoy your night. So we'll have that discussion to make. One, the date we're going, and then other necessary arrangements. All right. I will get a bus, the UGBS bus, and then we'll make it happen. Okay. All right.
Sir.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.